Hi everyone, it's Jen from Mindseye, and we're gonna go ahead and do the live psychic medium reading for the week. Um, Last night was a break night. It was Good Friday, and then tomorrow we're going to have a day off from the holistic due to Easter, and then we'll go back to regular on Monday. But basically, we're gonna go right off the bat, right off the bat. So when I see this, I say there's some like strength that's coming in over this weekend, and it really has to do with Nadis. So when I do Nadis, I actually see it how it should be, and when I see it how it should be, it really causes a lot of havoc coming in. Like I said, this is a little bit of a free form, and then we're just getting it out. When you actually see Rado, it really comes in like hard as it like a go about order, and then it goes like a go about order, and then it comes in as like be about, and then it comes in as like see look, and as you go about and you're living out your life and you're going around town, everyone's quiet, nobody's really talking to each other, and you just don't understand why. So when I see this and I see Canoe, it really like gives a lot of like upset to where you actually have a little bit of reflux. And when I actually see it and I see ice, I actually have to say it actually is kind of like a trolling. Like I have to say, yeah, immigrations and customs is right on this, and then we have the alien, like enemies act coming in. And so when I see it and I actually look at this and it's hey Bo, what is this like pertinent gift that actually came through that you can't even see a sun up to sundown? That everyone's like, I don't understand why we're getting rid of DEI. I don't understand why we're going in on the IRS. I don't understand why the school board is like falling apart or anything of that. And like, why can't we still get FEMA? When I see this, this is something like a defensive act that still is just like at this standstill. When I do this, I literally have this like premonition of like a flip flop of fate to ill fate. And when I look at it, I say it has a lot of power, and it really comes in through the wind. And when it comes in through the wind, you look at it and you say it really has to do with like heritage, estate, and culture, and that's why we're really like pushing forward DEI because it was about diversity. But when I see this, there was like this hidden game that you just couldn't even get done, a DONE, and it really came out like to the point where it was like when you say Jaga, it really comes in hard. It really comes in hard. So when I look at it and I say, you can't even have like enough joy when you say it's hard, it's on the heart. It really is the heartstrings. It really pulls really like to the point of like a disarray that you can't even say, is this like a type of trolling? And it really isn't trolling, but we want to know why it's a stingray. And then you go, see, there it is. That's where the wealth is. Like it's in the stingray. And you play this game and you go, where is the roundabout? And where is the do about? And where is the say about? And you say, it's a sting. It really is. Is it a wheel of luck? We just don't really know at this point. But then when you look at it, you're like, look at the tariffs are coming in. And then all of a sudden it is, no, MS-13 leader got deported. And then we're like, I thought we got one leader. Like, where is this going at this point? When you look at it, it's living to the highest point of max that you can't even like torch it or ash it or anything like that. And they're like, that's derogatory because that's a hate crime. And what is a hate crime? You're literally like this living warrior all day long that you can't even do it hard enough. So when I see Lagu, it really flows in well. So then we start watching the waters, and then we're watching the waterworks. And then it's like a culvert and a divert. And then it goes all the way around and through. And you say, see, it's a sue them. Absolutely put in court. And then when you actually collect, they say, denied, you don't get your benefits. Why? I had to do a settlement and a lawsuit. Nope, you don't get anything anymore because it literally came in overnight. Overnight. You can't even be it. You can't even sting it. You can't even do anything to that nature. But you had instinct and intuition. That's what that rune is saying. So what is our instinct and intuition on Easter weekend? It really what is like being born? What is actually being like a new beginning? What is this unveiling like still coming through? And it really has become a repeat and repeat. So let's actually look at what we really need to guide the rest of this psychic reading. It really is like be it and sing it and see it and like continuing education, and then actually you go right through it and you can't even be it, and everyone's looking like, what is actually going on here? And then you actually look at it and you say, actually, are you like educated or not? I am educated. But that is literally how psychics were picking up, like there's something not right, because they can't even get it out. They can't even get it out. Some people can't even get it out. So let's talk about again, like help leading through to make it linear. Like we had the individual with Waterbury, how they were locked in a house for 20 years. Were they offered everything? Well, they said services were coming in, and then they say, I mean, they did everything. I mean, it seemed pretty well together, and then all of a sudden, like, no, we remember there are certain things that actually came through, and then we actually said, yeah, here it is, it's the wish. And it really isn't picking on anyone, but then everyone's like, it was a steal because she walked free. So here's this woman who's accused of actual like absolute abuse, that you can't even believe how hard it is to actually get it through. So you really can't even get together. You can't even celebrate that maybe some people actually with these heinous acts of crime towards nurses that came through. You can't even actually have a celebration anymore because you just can't even be known. So when you look at it and you go, dictatorship? Absolutely. But it's not even dictatorship. Why? Because it ends up being like a victim and hostage protocol. So when you see it and you say it all has to go down to greed, and then it's a halt stop. Where's this halt stop? It's like the tarot. And they start putting words in your mouth. And they literally start putting words in your mouth. You can't even do. You just can't even do. So as soon as this goes through and you go, nope, absolutely not. Finality or relief? There's no finality. But money's on the table. Money is on the table. Don't worry about it. Is there a liberation? No. There's still these inhibitions that people are still going to go through. It's normal. It's okay to put it in court and kick it back and forth and see where it goes and see where it lands. Because this actual like poverty-stricken America to many countries actually is like, they're like, it's deceitful. It's not deceitful. It really isn't. When you see it and you actually look at it, there is no victory. And then you say, you really got to hunker down and lock it down. Well, lock it down in what way? We're almost done with like cold and flu season. So then you look at the high priestess, like, where's the hidden motives on this? And then when you see it, there's a lesson of a struggle. And then when you see there's a communication, all forms of communication, even when we are talking on the low and putting it in your mouth. That actually is a heinous crime, putting it in someone's mouth. But in all actuality, you go, it's counterintuitive. No, I picked up on it. So when you see strength and you go, no. Queen of Wands, yeah, it sat well. And then you go, it really was a halt stop. And then everyone's looking around, they're like, I really don't know what to do, but everything seems to be back to where it used to be. It's not what we wanted. It's really not what we wanted. It will come charging in. Knight of Wands. You can't even see it. Ill justice? To what degree? So when you'll see it and you go, no, it really isn't. And you have to do, what is this get together? It really is Easter weekend. That's the get together. But there's no steal. Whatsoever. All right, let's look at another oracle. Literary Witches Oracle. What do we need to know? All right, for this coming week, this is what we need to know, since we didn't do the weekly update yesterday. Basically, everything is known, but you really can't do a whole lot next week. you're just busy. It really is like constraining on what you need to do. And then when you actually need to do it, you can't even see it coming. So when I actually look at it to the highest degree, you can't even be it whatsoever. So when I actually look by the 23rd, everyone is DUNing with this act of whatever's going on in the public. And then you would have to say, no, I think you need to actually see what's going on by the 25th. And then it goes, no, just go purchase a car, go do this. And like everyone's like, go get a loan. Go get a loan. Just go get a loan. Yep. Taxes are coming in, the refunds, the stimulus, maybe. There is no stimulus. What a tax break. I heard there's a stimulus. Loss. What's going on with loss? What's hidden? Health toxicity. What's going on with that? And then you go, family. You can't even believe it. When you look at this tree, it really is like a caught up, and it's a lack of a better term. When you see this, it is like a go about and like a stir it up type of thing. But when you see rabbit, it's heard sound. And when you hear sound, it's like intuitive. And then you go, grotesque humor. Like this was like funny. I'd have to say it's still the gangs kicking up. When you see the lantern, actually, it really is known. Absolute known. So when I look at it and I go, you really can't even cut through it. It really is a stay by, and just take care of yourself the best way you can next week. Go to work, do your normal routine post Easter, and just still be in universal precautions. Now, when I see this, you have to go and actually like plan an actual vacation this year. And then when you see it, you have to be really skilled at actually taking the time off and planning it, because it's fate. It's actually fate. How can actually like scheduling a vacation be fated? Basically, like all over the last 3 to 9 months, things have happened to a boil down effect, to a boil up, and to a cut out. That's why TikTok's like, just cut it, because we're like done with the storyline that you can't even see it coming. And when it actually cuts, it could be an overnight, it could be at dusk, it could be at early morning. It all of a sudden is just right there at your door. And when you say this hedgehog, you say, really? Are you sure? I don't know. I think it's playful nature, but toxic, like masculinity. Toxic masculinity is really has nothing to do with actually being male or even transgender or any of that part. It really has to do with like entities. Like look at maybe a federal agency or maybe a business or a law firm or anything of that nature and say, this whole energy is toxic and it has a lot of male energy in it, which means it actually is a stop block energy. So when I actually see this and I go, how many times you're actually going to do it, you start counting how many times they say, actually. When you look at this and you see house and you see snail, it is a go throw it in the garbage. When you look at this and you say, it's meant to be a mystery, everything. But what is this unveiling? Health. It has to do with health. We finally got it out. It took us 3 months. What is the unveiling? It has to do with health. All right. Let's go to the Akashic Tarot. What else do we need to know tonight? Documents. This is really huge, especially in Connecticut. Documents, up to paper documents, like 20 to 40 years old. And then they get their wishes fulfilled. And when you see it, it actually clears away. but shouldn't have been scanned into the documents on the computer. So when you see initiation in the Count of Saint Germain, what initiation are you actually looking at? It really has to do with like the way that it cuts out, and the way that it cuts out, you can't see it coming whatsoever. What is this initiation? Fated meeting. It's not a game. It's not like wait for a move. It has to do with energy field. Not documented. It has to do with a divine physician, and I would say divine physician is literally holistic with a W. When I see this and I see Archangel Raphael, you can't even believe how hard it is. Like, you just can't see it done whatsoever. But when I actually see it, you know, the summer and winter and fall comes through, and you can't like boo it whatsoever. You can't even ghost it. So when you say ghost guns, is it true on a Pro 2A? Well, what's the law, the addendum, the referendum, all the way through the general statutes to anything of that nature, where it's actually causing a war because we got to take the guns away because we had another school shooting. Waterfall, it comes flooding in, all the information, even audio, like all audio, radio, syndication, and then you have commentaries, and then you have the news, and then you say it's not really something to be like proud of, or like counting, or anything of nature. But when I see this willow, it really is hidden. It's hidden. You're not supposed to see anything about Pro 2A and guns. So what is the difference between like guns and firearms and rifles and assault rifles? Basically, all you need to know, and it's not rhetoric or like making anything too political. It really has to do with, you know, an assault rifle is something that you can pick up and do a run with. And then when you actually see a rifle, it is a standby still and wait. When you see a pistol, it is a go for it, but then you wait. And then when you actually hear like bump stocks, that's none, N-O-N-E. Like, it's a nil, none niche. You don't need a bump stock. And then when you actually go through it to the highest extent, what's a ghost gun? It's a concealed carry. It really is a concealed carry. And people are like, you're not supposed to have a concealed carry. It's supposed to be open carry. You're allowed to have concealed carry depending on the state. So when you see it, you say state is all forms of the meaning. The state of the nature of where you're living, to the state of their mind in the public, to the state that you're living in accordance of everything that is written about guns. So when you see it and you say firearms, it really is your quick draw. When you see the Akashic Library, you're not going to find it. It's so old, even prior to the Constitution in Philadelphia. You can't even see the reflection in the mirror. If you have this, like, I'm seeing an actual, like, looking glass related to this. It is like off the beaten path completely. When you look at this too, and you say it is like an end stop, but it's true, because when you actually study the Rosetta Stone, the nature of the standstill before it came in through to Philadelphia, that you can't even do it. So when you actually see it and you see Philadelphia and you go and you try to grab Rosetta Stone, you can't touch it. You can't touch it at all. It really is like a crematory. And you say, this is like heinous. And then when you say, absolutely heinous, the crematory literally comes through on the basis of known. And on the basis of known, you can't get it done. and you can't even get it done on a way to a run to be a bay. So when you actually pick up a rifle and you actually look at it, you can't even like do anything. You can't even do anything. You pick up your rifle in today's age and you say 19 was ill, but 18 was a real run rich to be a bay, and you go back down to North Carolina and you see the water. And then when you see the water, you bring it right all the way back up. And then you sit in Connecticut and you say bump stocks are ill due to Adam Schiff. And that's all you need to know. But how did he get all that? It was given to them by like a parent. So then you go back down to Florida. So let's actually talk about Florida and why that's a real run rich. When you see a real run rich, you actually go through it and you can't even do it. So when you actually can't even do it, you can't even see it. And when you can't even see it, you can't even be it. So let's actually like be it. All forms of the meaning and the spelling. So let's actually go through and actually stand still and watch. And when you actually watch it, you see the King of the Roses, and he comes in with this offering of everything is good and it's a real run rich. And you say, no, the Archangel Gabriel came in and it was known, and I heard the angels upon on singing on high, and the intricacies in the industry actually built it down there in Florida to actually be so rich to pull it through that you had the lightning bolt in reverse. You can't even do a light pass. What's a light pass? A light pass is when they actually smoke marijuana. And when they smoke marijuana, they do an in. And when they do an in, they actually go through you and you retain. Somebody else does. Well, what's going on? And some people say that sounds like DEI. So are we all intoxicated? I don't know. We're all criminal. I don't know. I didn't do anything, and all of a sudden I'm sick. All of a sudden I'm sick. This is heinous. Absolutely heinous. The Queen of Keys actually says, what is key? Is it K-E-Y? Is it K-E-I, which is a form of heroin? How do we know that? Visiting nurses. They're solid. They're good. They're walking all of a sudden. So when you see the views of the ego, you have to say, let's bring it right back up to Lake and Riley. So where is this health issue that needs to get unveiling? Because when I see the views of the ego, you can't even do. You can't even do. It's opposing forces. It's not up in the air. It's like right on fog view. Some mornings it's right off the grass. Prophesied? I mean, they're connected to source. Breaking up commitments? Absolutely. Absolutely. Is it the miner's fault? Were they instilled in their well? Did they lock it down? Did they get it out? Did they be about? Is this Tupac and Biggie? Here we go again. Are we seeing the colors? Did it come through? Sands of time, let's actually go back. Let's actually look at this. It really isn't not spring and fall. You actually have to look at it at certain periods. Here we go. So when we bring it up to Maine and we actually bring it up to Connecticut, and you see it on how the children were mysteriously ill, like all of a sudden ill, and you couldn't understand it. But then you had your duns. That was like a key word that like a lot of psychics are saying. Like it's a keyword, D-U-N-E, D-U-N-E. It's not a D-U-N or a D-U-N-N. It's a D-U-N-E. Like right before they're going into these incidences, they're saying, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. And then all of a sudden they say, I'm really, really sorry, whoever said they were done. And I'm really trying to make it right. But then all of a sudden you say, potency, you're making your life a prayer. I mean, they're literally like Pigpen, permeating out. Their energy is toxic. It's a vampire. And then all of a sudden you see it right on YouTube. You're saying, I've got Jesus and Jack the Ripper. You can't even make it up. So when you look at it and you say Hadarian energy, codependency boundaries, absolutely, highly, highly. And it's really not poking any fun of anyone. And I encourage everyone to really clear their own name. Clear their own name. All forms of meaning and spelling, as I say. So when I see birth and creations and tapestry of life and expression, I mean, we were highly expressive, especially during COVID, and we had to lift the veil. So when we actually talked about like satanical rituals, and then we talked about up to Luciferianism, and we had to do set-ins and sit-ins, and then we say, was this like a preview, or were they actually giving us a warning, or were they actually saying, is this against anyone's religion? It really wasn't, they're saying. But when you look at it and it says question everything, anything unaligned must go, everyone knows at some point if they have like nothing upon them, nothing within them, and they have nothing like dictating their own mind, their clear sound mind that actually law enforcement can hear right through you more ways than one. People forgot that. Isolation, physical connection, community. I bet you any money these are the things that they are talking about. Like all of a sudden, how can someone actually go through everything and say, I'm a successful individual, I have a good career, and have like a stable account, and then all of a sudden I'm bankrupt in 3 years, bankrupt, and I can't even get the health care I need because I'm able-bodied, and then I have all the denial forms and I can't get out. But they're screaming, I am hostage. And then I'm screaming, you can't even believe it. But then they go into court. They go right into the media and they say, hold on, call in support. You're part of a team of souls. Let me tell you, people are getting heinous. You'll survive this. New solutions and new beginnings. Let me tell you, that is how the Waterbury woman, I swear, as I see as a psychic and a medium, walked free. It is because of the way I'm seeing she presented herself, even though she had so many accusations upon her to probably within her. I'm seeing a huge issue with cocaine. So when I look at it, like it's always cocaine. It's the highest value of none, N-U-N. Soul grits and training and step up, man, they go creepy crawly right out of their skin and they do odd things. So when I see spontaneous awakening, activation, and integration, it's like random. Absorbing what is not yours, energy. So how do you get it? By sitting and clearing, and then all of a sudden you're out of your PTO and you called out too many times. All right, let's go through this. Pleiadian Oracle. Is it coming? Then all of a sudden they say this. Usually you don't. And then you go through. And then others go, you go through and you hew it. It's a hue. I saw your aura. And then you go, you can't even believe how hard it is. Set your vibration. So when you set your vibration, when you're clean and you're healthy, you really are like set for the day. Like you already know what is going on. Planetary guardian? No, usually not. Passion? Yeah, they can get passionate. Song of your soul? Usually you set your tone by your day by music or anything of that nature. Fifth dimensional access? Usually most people don't remember their dreams, as I say, but in actuality, in psychology, they remember their dreams like once a month. And when they remember their dreams once a month, they come in through on a high hue. So look at the way that the hue comes in. Hue is really hard, but then you have nature come in. Actually, nature disturbances that as we're seeing over the next week could come in and actually cause in more harm. Mental, emotional, and physical harm is normal. Sacred union. So I would say sacred union would have to be the ties and the bonds and the partnerships to the contracts, to the old treaties that are still active per NATO and G7, that you can't even get anything done whatsoever. Enlightened gut. I hear a pun. I hear watch out for like Thanksgiving, but I also hear Easter, and they want to say Thanksgiving. Cosmic unity. bun in the oven, Star Family. I mean, you really can't get it done. You can't get it done. Imagination. I feel like you should watch what is in the stores on what you're watching, because literally the Department of Agriculture is looking into the cows and what the ranchers are saying. So let's actually talk about that before the mothership actually comes through. So when I see this and you see the universal knowledge, is it making fun of anyone? No, these are the conversations that you hear out and about when they're actually talking. You can't even do. You just can't even do. You look over and you're like, yep, right on cue. Right on cue. No one knows why. Planetary Guardian. You have to go through it. You got to live it. And you go, excuse me? What did you say? So when I see this and I say, a calls to, you can't even do. You can't even do it. Spell do. Spell do. Bacall's tune literally alludes to something on a Thursday, Friday. And that's all they'll do. Here we go. Let's look at the animal oracle and then we'll look at the poker cards. Here we go. All right, eagle. It comes screaming in on the basis of known. And when you see tarantula, you actually go out to phoenix. And when you see raccoon, it really is a continuous on, but it's contained. And then you see tiger, it is a go about, and it really is more like an Arizona to a North Carolina. And you see it, it's a rarity. I would check fun runs. And when you see unicorn, I actually look at the way it all flays out, that you can't even do. You just can't even do it. So when you actually look at this, the highest point of max, unicorn would actually mean it is a rarity with this cosmic egg. And then the unicorn, you have to go about it in a way unknown. Oyster, United Healthcare, it goes right back to healthcare. Whatever has come through, even in energy, is like you can't even do Rue. That's back again. You can't even do Rue. How dare you? How dare you accuse me of a hate crime due to being any other than what should be in a sausage gravy and a cast iron skillet, and that you would ding me on it. So when you see camel on the basis of known, it is still looking at it because we're looking at the ceasefires, and then you see this like this is normal. This is normal day. Are we hashing out? Not to the degree of max. When you see this, you see fishing, and I literally see on the way that the lakes and the rivers flow through it, that you can't run through it to the highest degree of known. And when you see crow, it really is like Perth. It's Perth. So you go over to Australia. Black egg. We have golden egg, and then we have black egg. And then you go zebra. You can't even count. You can't even count. The bee, it really goes about it in a way unknown. To the hummingbird, to the earthworm, to the bear, Appalachia. These are the signs that we're looking at that you can't even go through it. So when I see shark, hammerheads, there was something about hammerheads in Clearwater where people were swimming with hammerhead sharks. And you have to go, what are they doing? What are they doing? You can't even do it whatsoever. There's the golden egg, frequency and hertz. Let's dig a little bit deeper on frequency and hertz, because you see this moth come in and you can't even see it coming, and it hits so hard and you go, you can't even do it. How did we go from the shark to the golden egg to the moth? and all of a sudden you're boiling anger where you can't talk and you don't talk. Here we go. Light Seers Tarot. Here we go. This one's a little hard to draw out. Let's draw out a little bit more on the shuffle. Why are we going to get upset about shark, golden egg? Here it is. Rent due. Rent due is one of those things that is this like huge walking away and turning point. That you have lost money to the point of max of none, where you're bankrupt and you can go to prison. That it has no alleviation of like struggle with this Ten of Wands in reverse. And it's like this whim. But what actually has happened? You look at this and you see Seven of Wands and you say, it really is something else. It's guarded, it's well balanced and meditative, but it came in quick. It usually does when it's highly criminal. Just a reminder, when something is highly criminal or highly defensive or such like a fated change on an individual, they literally are so quick that you actually have to go and say, you probably need to talk to law enforcement first before you even see medical, because they literally have to boil out if it is true or not. This Ace of Cups is this. You have to use your intuition and your instinct. Where would this be? If somebody has done you in. A done you in means like all of a sudden you sit on the couch, you're like, I'm done. And you don't even move. And you don't even move whatsoever. Sharp endings, yes. There's surprises in the neighborhoods. And then you say, no, look at like they had polypharmacy. Look at they had arguments. Look, they had this going on. And you go, no. I mean, I was going to do a wellness tech, but I just decided not to. So then you look at it and you say, well, you know, it was true. What was that a free will choice? Yeah, it actually was. It really was. But then it was policy and procedure, and then I just couldn't do it. That's actually true. You could have probably lost your job. So when you say the Five of Pentacles, alleviation, GoFundMe. So when you see the Temperance, balance. Watch their gait. Watch the way they drive. Watch their like tracking of their eyes in the public. Even if you're grocery shopping and you finally get outside, it really flows in hard. It flows in hard. The Six of Swords actually is so hard that you can't even do. You can't even do. You can't even like go through it hard enough. This like stop block is going through and you go, I just already know what you're doing. I already know what you're doing. I'm not coming back on the basis of known because I can get it done. And when you do it, you go, holy cow, you can't even do. You can't even do. The Ten of Pentacles to the Star to the Empress. It has a lot of like female energy. A lot of female energy. And then you go to this Queen of Wands. There's no skill whatsoever. It is like securement and you get your wishes. And then all of a sudden you're like, that's how the public is all of a sudden. They have a lot of honor. And then you go, is recklessness. And then they go, this is like alleviation of like disappointments. No, this really hurts. This Three of Swords in reverse. Where is this? Dig a little harder. Four of Wands goes through. You can't even like get together and celebrate about this. So when you go to the Four of Cups, you go, you can't even be. You can't even be. Stone Cold Therapy. Then you go, holy cow, King of Swords came through. And everyone goes, holy cow, where did that come from? Where did that come from? King of Swords is contractual matters to get it done, a DUNN. And when it comes through, it literally is like this. So like, don't worry about it. You were in the aisle and you go, and then all of a sudden you're septic. It actually was a racketeering game in 1979 that carried through that hasn't had a win yet. But they got it done in December. Thanks to the Crip Bloods and the Latin Kings. And so when you see it and you go, I mean, it's just psychic. Is it true or not? But that's what I'm seeing as a psychic. Two of Swords, you weren't to see it. You weren't to see it. Was it a full-blown choice? I have to say so. Deceitful, hostage-like, to a degree. But when you look at it and you go the Hermit, isolation, absolute. When you see the Knight of Swords and you go, it's like too solid where they can't even do. This really hurts. This actually really hurts. Here we go. Poker cards. Here we go. What is coming out of politics out of this? It really is a Two of Diamonds on a cutout. To a type of hash out that you actually have to look at everything on. It's not illegal substance. It's a hash out. The Eight of Spades is a spear. And then the King of Diamonds is like a heart out. I feel like there's like a fisherman mediumship. Nine of Diamonds, this fisherman really came in as golden rod. And then this Nine of Spades came in. This golden rod, it was so known, you had to go through it. And I'm like, this has got to be Steve Irwin. Stingray. Steve Irwin, what do you want us to know about Stingray? Three of Diamonds is a type of cut. King of Hearts is like a full fold. When you see this Queen of Spades, you couldn't get enough. And then you see this Five of Clubs. It was a get together. It was like a group of friends. When you see the Four of Spades, it definitely is a club. It's definitely a club. 5, 4, 5 of Hearts, 2 of 2. It really was like adult, a DULT, which is like a type of cult out of Australia. So when you see it and you go, it's like the Kool-Aid, but it's not. So you got your 2 and your 3 of Hearts. I'm seeing it wasn't even Aboriginal. It's highly occulted. Let me see if I can dig it out. Can't Ray. There was something about RIE. It's a mix. You can't mix. Highly unlocked, but basically when I do that, it literally has already, just from energy, this bitters. Bitters is a type of like weed that is so odd. Like it feels like it's common in America. Like you're like hiking and you're seeing it. I'm just doing this. They just do this and it's just done. It's just done. When you see this like King of Spades, with the way that it was dealt, it's like joking, trolling. 4 of Hearts goes through and you can't even do a do. You can't even do a do. Like, goodbye, I do. Let's go a little harder. So when I see this 10 of clubs, America, France, Canada, South America, there it is. You can't even believe like how hard it was. It literally was Russia. Couldn't even believe it. So is it collusion to collusion to collision? Can't even see it. Can't even see it. CEA is a type of like astringent. Astringent. Looks like whiskey, but it's not. It's definitely seen in some of the penitentiaries and state hospitals. CEA. So when I see this, it really like alleviates like a problem in the area. If they're doing it, it's like a lock hold. And when you see this, like it's teamwork. It usually is a 3. It was definitely in 1937 in Lower Wales. In Lower Wales, you could see it, and it had to do with like St. Patrick's Day. And when you see St. Patrick and how he used to catch criminals with cluck, and cluck is a type of leprechaun magic that when they use this, it's crabgrass and clover with dandelion root and dandelion leaf, that they literally go, and that's all they had to do and catch it. But it's not the CEA or what we're talking about, but it's like it. One is highly criminal and the other one is legal and lawful. So it's just normal. So when I see this, there's no securements. All of a sudden, like your assets are gone and they're doing allocations on you. Highly imbalanced. So when you look at this and you see this, it's happened before. 1938, 1957, 1969, and you're seeing all these things come out. And then like a couple days ago, it was Agent Orange and how that can occult something. You can't even believe how hard it was. This literally comes in and you go, you can't even do it. You can't even. It's unfulfilled wishes. When I say no steal, when you say no steal, you can't even protest, even with Teamsters. That is like, why can't you even protest with Teamsters? Source? Absolutely. What is the source? It's like a type of energy. I'm hearing like an air. EIRE. It's Gaelic for get a done. And just be away. And just be away. Because they're literally going to do it to you. It's going to come in so fast. And it's really nothing to worry about, especially if you're doing universal precautions. It'll bring in flow of money, securements, whatever is coming through. I'm seeing 3, 9, 12, 13, and a 19. So when I see Knight of Pentacles, there is really some offers that kind of come back. And then you say logic. It will sit with logic. Queen of Swords. So when I say skill comes in, you do. Contentment orders, absolute contentment orders. And when you say it, it is a railroad to a crossroad, and you see it all play out, you can't even do. Highly true. Struggle, but let's try to end it a little bit right now. What do we need to know to end? Here we go. Disappointment. Definitely just some disappointment. Not the start we wanted. It has been foreseen. Normal, like I say. It wasn't prudent. it really was like this type of like button lips, lock it down with like hidden motives. And then this Ace of Swords was not the best of logic of start of like anything that you can get contractual, that you actually like lost money. Some people like highly lost money. That is what it wants to end. The Strength card, it's gonna come in strong. You're really going to see it in like 2 to 3 weeks. 2 to 3 weeks. Queen of Wands, it will sit like well. Sit well. Toxic male energy. Toxic male energy. That is what a lot of that stuff, uh, if they are using nastiness. This is why we're having like the upkick of watch the hexing, and then also to like, is it a witch hunt? Then that's all you need to know. So, with that being said, any questions or concerns, leave a like, a comment, a share, an email. It's greatly appreciated, and we will talk to you soon.